must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
We discuss Africa. We see what ails Africa. And today, this afternoon, we want to see whether Sudan will permanently remain a sick child of Africa. Is it a permanent sickness? Can we resolve the issues of Southern Sudan? Is it something that has gone wrong for 200 years? There has always been a problem in Southern Sudan, in that great region, starting from all the way the Alimadi Wars and the rest of all what happened until today. Peace seems to be elusive. Why has UN taken slow action? Why hasn't UN set up a tribunal? We want to see a tribunal that will make sure that Southern Sudan people are accountable. Those who committed crimes against the human beings. 20,000 Sudanese perished. They are perished. They are not accountable. Nobody can account for them. And we cannot sit here, go on hammering peace agreements without mechanisms of accountability. If we set a tribunal for Sierra Leone, for Rwanda, for Khmer Rouge, we need somebody to stand up for the poor masses, the masses that have died, the masses that continue to die, the masses that are being brutalized, murdered, maimed on a daily basis by marauding armies of both Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. There must be an accountability. You are not going to sit here and tell people there is no accountability in Southern Sudan. There must be a tribunal. Why do we run to harass countries of Kenya, put ICC on Kenya, put ICC on this country, put ICC on Central African Republic? Why have we delayed on putting a tribunal for Southern Sudan to find out who is killing, who has been killing, how they have been killing people? Let me speak for the people in Southern Sudan, the women, the children who have not gone to school, the children who have no medicine, the children who have nothing, who have been running since 2013, and the war cannot end because of two people. Let them face the tribunal. I'm not going to keep quiet as a Pan-African to see Southern Sudan being maimed, being tortured, being cut, dismembered. And we keep quiet and watch people got images of people, of malcontents singing to us in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in South Africa, telling us they have money. Let them face the international tribunal and tell the tribunal who gave them the guns, where they buying them, how they were killing people. Enough of is enough. Enough is enough for Africa. We have had enough. There is no need of that anymore. Enough is enough. And if people have died, they will not cry. We people who are left on planet Earth must cry for them. We must find justice for them. We must make sure that there are leaders who go on bragging on television stations all over the world, who are accountable. They must be behind bars.
Everybody just arrives in our townships and rural areas and set up businesses without licenses and permits. We are going to bring this to an end. And those who are operating illegally, wherever they come from, must now know.
A warning shot fired by number one.
The question arises, and we must investigate also what is the law of South Africa says. How can a city in South Africa be 80% foreign nationals? That is dangerous. That in Hillbrow and the surrounding areas, South Africans have surrendered their own city to the foreign nationals. The nation should discuss that particular question. You won't find South Africans in other countries dominating a city into 80%. Because if we do not debate that, that necessarily means the whole South Africa could be 80% dominated by foreign nationals. And the future president of South Africa could be a foreign national. We are surrendering our land. And it is not xenophobia. To talk truth, we fought for this land. From a white minority, we cannot surrender it to the foreign nationals. That is a matter of principles. We fought for this country, not only for us, for the generations of South Africans. The arms that are being used here in Hillbrow are arms of war, which are unlicensed. The hijacking of buildings here in Hillbrow is a sign of taking over power. The question of dominance of foreign nationals in illegal trading and also businesses that are here in Hillbrow is an economic sabotage that is taking place against our people that were supposed to be those that are running those particular businesses. We are facing here service delivery protests that we don't know where are coming from. Some of the issues is because of we can't give shelter to our people because these buildings are being occupied and hijacked by people and lunatics that we don't know. Where we can be housing at least the middle class that is working here. Those who are coming from universities, they're having at least less enough to buy their own houses. And then they can rent from the state and then start a new life, and invest and buy a proper house in future. But we can't do it because of these buildings are hijacked by criminals. People are being raped there, there's drug dealing there, there are illegal shipments there, there is second-hand goods, businesses of stolen goods, by the way, and all sorts of criminal activities. And we must do something about it. I want to ask the nation, South Africa, and the so-called human rights activists and organizations, what must the police do when they are shot at by criminals? Must they sing Nkosi Sikelela Africa, or they must return fire? We are losing police officers day in, day out, but we are protecting criminals that are terrorizing our communities. We are 52 million people. If each and every of us can be a police officer and fight against crime, we will squeeze crime in South Africa.
Our brothers, black brothers in South Africa, are chasing us, calling us a foreigner in our continent. And they're vandalizing our shops, what we have suffered for. Breaking our shops, killing our brothers, burning our shops, stealing our things. And police are not doing anything. Police are holding their hand, watching them killing us, burning our shops. And the government is not saying anything. We're all disappointed and we're very sad that in our continent, they're calling us foreigners. chasing us. So what do we want government to do? Government must interfere before this thing is going to escalate, because everybody is very sad. Like today, our shop are closed from morning till now. We also pay taxes, support our kids, pay rent.
We are not happy about this mass demonstration. One of the Indians is killed, of which is the permanent citizens in our country.
South Africa woke up and said that foreigners must go. I keep asking myself, foreigners, black people must leave Africa. What kind of thing is that? Is it what Nelson Mandela worked for? Is it what all the activists worked for?
Taking our women away, now they're making us run in the streets. Yeah. We want to shire them. Everyone, not let this happen. We'll do something about this.
Which wives? My wife is a Nigerian. So what type of taking your wives? Talking about jobs. I got company, I got shops, and 10 South Africans are working for me. So they should be very, very happy that I'm here. So and we have to, please, both the governments, both all the African countries must come together, join hands, and allow peace to reign. Thank you.
We are also looking not happy about what is happening in our country. So please, government, consider our views. We want to know what is democracy.
You have to find more police to stop them. That's this case. You're not stopping because they are calling us. Never. You're not stopping. I can't fight to anybody. If they want to fight, they must come to fight. Stop like that. The white man take your. The white man you can't fight them. Why?
We want government to do something about it. We don't want people to do business while they are not permitted. They are coming with drugs. They got a bad influence.
Before we came here, way back in the days, there's drug in South Africa.
That means they must do something, like they must try to find something to make them right, and maybe they must just try to find a transport and move them to their homes, not like to hit them and kill them. It's not right at all.
Self-hatred. Stop attacking our brothers from Africa, our sisters from Africa. We are one thing. You say batata umsebenzi. Even if we expel them tomorrow, you will still not get a job. There are no jobs in South Africa because whites are refusing to invest money in South Africa. They've got too many savings in the bank. They've got trillions in the bank. They are refusing to take it out and build industries. There is no Nigerian who stole an industry and hired Nigerians only. There is no Zimbabwean who's got a farm in Knysna or Stellenbosch who hired Zimbabweans. It is your white people who hire Zimbabweans, pay them low so that you can fight amongst yourself as Africans. See them for what they are. Bias Luis Alababantu, they are causing divisions amongst Africa. Don't glorify these borders. Uti, hey, there is Zimbabwe, there is Nigeria. These borders were never here. These borders were imposed on us by white people who wanted to divide Africa and do what they wanted to do with this continent of Africa. I am ashamed today to call myself a South African. The image that are coming out of Durban make me to be ashamed. You are beating blacks. You are slaughtering Africans. I've never seen you doing that to a Chinese. I've never seen you doing that to a white person who doesn't have papers. I've never seen you do that to an Indian without papers. But once they say it's an African, because you hate yourself
because white people taught you to hate yourself, you kill other Africans. Stop that nonsense. It ends today. We must unite as Africans.
You know, when one is asked to talk about leadership in Africa, one's mind wanders in many directions, because in the recent past, the continent of Africa has been the subject of scrutiny from many quarters. There are those who are Afro-pessimists and take the view that Africa will never realize our potential. There are those Afro-optimists who take the view that the jury is still out on the success or otherwise of the continent of Africa. I am an Afro-optimist. I take the view that this continent has had a glorious past, and that this continent has had her trials and tribulations, but her better days are in the future. There are those who, when talking about Africa, are in the habit of dealing with Africa as if it were one monolithic block. They do not recognize that the beauty of Africa is in her diversity. And indeed, when you care to undertake a geographical survey of Africa, you will be amazed at what the west of Africa offers, what the center of Africa offers, what the south of Africa offers, what the Horn of Africa offers, and what the north of Africa offers. That is the continent that we are talking about today. And we are talking about her because she continues in many ways to punch below her weight. And many are the commentators who take the view that the reason why she continues to punch below her weight is because the men and women who have had the privilege and honor to serve her in different political capacities or leadership capacities have not served her well. There may be merit in that assessment, but those who are quick to judge, those whose only claim to fame is that they are professional fault finders, must ask many questions before they judge and condemn Africa unfairly. This continent, and I remember, and if we are to judge this continent fairly, we must go back to the past and look to the past and ask about this continent. And there are many who have written about this continent. How many of you here will forget the great writings of Senegal's Anta Diop, who has documented in many ways the glorious past of the continent of Africa, the great kingdoms in Africa. When Europe was still in the caves, Africans were building monuments. If they were not building them in the Ashanti Empire, they were building them in Monomotapa here in Zimbabwe. And there is a sense in which all those have been consigned to the Museum of History. And those who look at Africa see Africa as a scar on the conscience of humanity, not remembering that they were themselves co-authors of Africa's misfortunes. We are the only continent and the only people in the world who have been commodified, How many of you will remember that agrarian Europe had to commodify Africa in order to realize our level of development? At one time in those early days, we will remember, even as we talk about leadership, that half of the population of this continent was taken away. If they were not taken away from Ghana, which they then christened Gold Coast, they were taken away from Angola. If they were not taken away from Angola, they were taken away from Mozambique. If they were not taken from Mozambique, they were taken from Senegal. If the Arabs were not taking us, the Europeans were taking us. If the Europeans in their different tribes were not conquering us, they were stealing from us. Those are the realities that we don't talk about when we talk about this continent. And you know, if one cares to judge the African continent, one must be historically conscious. The oldest African country after we regained our independence from Greater Chief. And the question that we must ask ourselves, why is it that this continent finds ourselves in that space? If it is not Europe summoning us, it is the United States of America summoning us. Everybody is in the business of summoning us. One may ask, what has this to do with leadership? You know, I listened to the Chinese president speaking in eloquent Mandarin, saying how the relationship between Africa and China is a mutually beneficial relationship. He spoke about Africa as if it was one country. He did not remind himself, in my mind, that there are 55 countries in Africa, or 54 if you ask Morocco. And I listened to the Chinese president specifically mentioning the Gambia and a few other, and Sao Tome and Principe, that they were welcomed back to the world because they had renounced their relationship with Taiwan and they had now recognized the one China policy. Do I say this because there is anything wrong with China? No. I'm saying this because the Chinese are providing leadership for their people. They know exactly what they want for their people, and they are doing exactly what they want for their people for the benefit of their people. The question that I'm posing to us, do we know what we want for our people? Are we doing what we need for our people? And the answer is, I doubt. Why do I doubt? I doubt because at the end of the entire enterprise, the Chinese president said that he had given, or his government had given, 60 billion United States dollars to 54 African countries. Notionally,
our brothers, black brothers in South Africa, are chasing us, calling us a foreigner in our continent. and they're vandalizing our shops, what we have suffered for. Breaking our shops, killing our brothers, burning our shops, stealing our things. And police are not doing anything. Police are holding their hand, watching them clean us, burning our shops. And the government is not saying anything. We're all disappointed and we're very sad that in our continent, they're calling us foreigners, chasing us. So what do we want government to do? Government must interfere before this is going to escalate, because everybody is very sad. Like today, our shop are closed from morning till now. We also pay taxes, support our kids, pay rent.
We are not happy about this mass demonstration. One of the Indians is killed, of which is the permanent citizens in our country.
South African woke up and said that foreigners must go. I keep asking myself, foreigners, black people must leave Africa. What kind of thing is that? Is it what Nelson Mandela worked for? Is it what all the activists worked for?
Taking our women away, now they're making us run in the streets. Yeah. We want to shire them. Everyone, not let this happen. We'll do something about this.
Which wives? My wife is a Nigerian. So what type of taking your wives? Talking about jobs. I got company, I got shops, and 10 South Africans are working for me. So they should be very, very happy that I'm here. So and we have to, please, both the governments, both all the African countries must come together, join hands, and allow peace to reign. Thank you.
We are absolutely not happy about what is happening in our country. So please, government, consider our views. We want to know what is democracy.
You have to fight more police to stop them. That's this case. You're not stopping because they are calling us. Never. You're not stopping.
Is it trying to be a fight?
I can't fight anybody. If they want fire, they must come to fight before you even have to. Stop like that.
The white man is taking on. The white man can't fight them. Why?
We want government to do something about it. We don't want people to do business while they are not permitted. They are coming.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya, in Nairobi, and elsewhere in Africa, wherever you are in the sub-Saharan Africa. Good afternoon. Those watching us from Europe, good evening. In the south of the hemisphere, in Australia, it should be approaching evening now. And in China and other places. Those in America waking up this morning. Good morning. This is Punchline Africa TV, the television station of Pan-Africanism, where Pan-Africanism is. You want anything on Africa, you get it from here. Thank you very much, our viewers. Our satellite will pick us later on, because on Sunday today they have a special program on Ambazonia. But you will look at our program later on in the night or whatever time, if you are on channel 003 of our satellite system. Viewers, this is a great day indeed, that most of us have left churches, and with me in the studio who had done her church service in the morning is none other than Miriam Ogutu.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miriam.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much for coming this afternoon, yes, despite all the difficulties. One of the things that I wrote today on my Sunday memo, I said resilience. Resilience will finish corruption in Kenya. We shall not give up. We shall help President Uhuru Kenyatta, continue to help him at all stages until the menace is wiped out. I also looked at my type of resilience. Single-handedly, I've taken over subjects that are very difficult in Africa to run: the ICC, the war in northern Uganda, which I finished, solved through discussion and dialogue and the peace talks on table. I've finished several things that stand the sanctions on Zimbabwe. When Mugabe was hit with sanctions, I single-handedly stood again. So the war of corruption in Kenya will not defeat us, or me in particular. I will make sure that one day Kenyans will remember my name, that I stood by them. I told them the judiciary was bad. But we want to look at this concept. Is it the law which is wrong, or the institutions in Kenya? Is it the law regarding corruption which is wrong? Miriam, you are Kenyan yourself. Is it the law? Is it the institutions? Because there are some people now, we have reached a cul-de-sac, which Mr. Miguna calls that Ruto has reached a cul-de-sac. That's what he said, meaning you have knocked the wall, you have nowhere but to bolt out. You have to bolt out with a helicopter or with parachute and go. Is it the law in Kenya that is not, pinning? Is it the law that is not striking hard, biting hard, to make sure that the people who take this money are convicted, or the institutions that we mandated, or both?
I think from what we've heard even from the CJ Maraga, when he comes out to say, I'm following the law, this is what the law says. So I think partly there's the law part and partly there's the institution. There's a loophole in the law that allows these people to get away. And that is what we need to find out, and our lawmakers need to find out and make sure that loophole is sealed in the law, so that when cases are brought to our judicial system, there's no that excuse or that loophole they use and get this off the hook all the time. And also our institutions, there's been a laxity in fighting corruption and unwillingness. Even when you see these cases, when they come out, people immediately run into cocoons of, this is my person, this is what this is my tribe, this is my tribe, this is my clansmen. And that also, we've seen it extend even to our judicial system sometimes, which is very unfortunate. So I think it's both the law that has a loophole that these people use to get away, and also the institutions, because when Maraga comes out and say, if the DPP's office does not bring a case that is waterproof, then what are we to do? We're just going to look at the evidence that has been brought, and if it has been brought and it's not been well investigated, so we are going to follow the law, and if it does not meet the threshold that allows for this person to be prosecuted, so we'll let them go. So we need to look at the loopholes and some of these things that allow these people to get away, and then if that can be sealed, and our institutions give watertight evidence, especially in the DPP's office and also the judiciary, we see how they handle these cases, they will not have any excuse of letting these people go. So I think both the institutions and the law, and something needs to be done about it.
Let's look at the criminal justice system of Kenya, of the Republic of Kenya. What happens to this criminal justice system of the Republic of Kenya, which actually has led to these problems that we have? The criminal justice system, the law that gives bail. You just arrest a person today, all what he needs, that person needs to say, tells the wife that the money that we stole is kept in the pillow, because they will want money for bail, keep it. And the following 3-4 days, the person walks out free. That is the law now. The institution also, you are right. Institutions also have a blame to apportion to. Look at the way the judges have conducted themselves, fixing cases. We have heard of cases. We have now 4 judges in court who have fixed a case, and one lawyer has come out to say, I have evidence to show that the 4 people were paid 75 million shillings. This is something that the Kenyans need to look at. First of all, on the bail conditions. People must not be given bail. You cannot give bail a man who stole a bank yesterday when the money has not been recovered. So MPs were trying to, one of the MPs who was trying to repeal this law, apparently came up with a very bad idea, a very bad idea, and made a very difficult decision of cutting down. He wants now to cut down the DCI, the powers of DCI and the DPP.
See, that's the problem.
Which is witch hunt, because he belongs to the side of Deputy President Ruto. And then the bill has come in Parliament. It's being viewed as the Ruto, you know, they have politicized the entire corruption.
It has been politicized.
Yes.
And I think that is the problem. And you look at, you just mentioned our criminal justice system. These are laws that are subject to be changed in Parliament. But unfortunately, these are the members of the legislators that we have in Parliament that are meant to be looking at some of these laws and really upgrading them and seeing that they're actually serving Kenyans. Because as it is right now, the criminal justice in Kenya really has a lot of work to be done on it for us to see a complete and a total success fight against corruption and seeing some of these people behind bars. But now when you see a person is coming from a place of politics, so despite of what they bring in Parliament, there's this perceived notion, and if now they feel the DCI has been given more powers, all of a sudden, this is an office that has been there for a while, so all of a sudden the DCI is doing his job. The DPP seem to be, the next person they'll go to for is the DPP, the next place top they'll go to is the EACC, and then what next?
I think they will go back to the president.
They'll go to the president. Yes. Go after the president.
They are soon going to go to the president.
Yes.
Because they are clipping everybody. So given this scenario, what do we do now that we know it is not only the law, it is also the institutions. And when you want to change these mistakes, people take political sides. Didi Nyoro is a member of the head number, I think, soldier head in Mount Kenya, plus Kimani Ichungwa. When this bill reaches in Parliament, these people are going to take sides and sit because they want to protect, to make sure that nothing touches this side.
They protect the
and another side of Raila Odinga and Uhuru, those
they seem to be together. Yes,
they seem to be together on the fight.
Yes.
So they are going to stand on this other side, mutilate this bill, make it will not work. Why don't we overhaul the entire bill, section of the law, and say anybody in Kenya who is you mentioned on economic crime should stay in custody for at least 6 months, while the investigations are taking place. That is what Museveni, who was here over the week, the Museveni you saw here who talks like the way he talks, you know, his casual talk. That is what he has done in Uganda.
Yes.
In Uganda, the law is very clear. It's very, very straightforward. That once you are caught on corruption charges, you go and you stay there until the investigators finish everything, bring you back to court. The case takes 1 week. You are sent to convicted or you are exonerated. And
Dr. Masanga, that is very common sense. You wonder, why is it not happening here?
No, because you have put a lot of Bill of Rights.
Why is it not happening here?
When you touch that, the Kenyans will Orengo, another lawyer from, there's a famous lawyer, Hamimwa. There is another lawyer, a younger man who has come up very actively, NGO man, his advocate who?
I think I'm forgetting his name, but yeah, I think...
You know him.
I'm forgetting his name.
He said,
yes.
All of this will be in court to say the Bill of Rights they will be in court to say, no, you have touched the Bill of Rights.
But if they mean well to Kenyans, and if these laws are meant to serve Kenyans, because now when this comes to Parliament, then they take their political cocoons at their political sides. At the end of the day, who will speak for Kenyans? Who will speak for the...
Look at the case of
They're representing us. I think they should mind our views and what we really want to see.
The MPs in Kenya don't represent you.
Unfortunately.
There are no MPs in Kenya representing a common man. Let's talk the truth about this.
Yes.
All MPs in Kenya represent their interests. If you look at what they are doing, what they are saying now, they want money for a good hotel worth in that parliament. They want to sleep in a 5-star hotel. You know? Those who have no homes. Of course, all MPs, 3/4 of them they're
given mortgage every August.
All of them are not from Nairobi. So you expect the money to be given to them.
But they're given a mortgage every year, every 5 years. They're given a mortgage.
So there's no MP representing anyone in Kenya. Please.
Yes, and that is the unfortunate.
If you don't agree with me.
No, I actually agree with you, and that is a very unfortunate truth because, so now what do we do as Kenyans? Because we send them there to represent us, and we can see
the problem I've seen in Kenya is everybody is mourning. That's the truth. Everybody is mourning. It needs one courageous man, like I was courageous, stood up in ICC, and the people feared, even Kibaki feared the ICC. Let me tell you the truth. Do you know Kibaki feared the ICC? He feared. Kibaki feared Ocampo and Kofi Annan. The rest, all these guys left their man. Their men were going. These younger men would not be here today. Thanks God. Thank you very much. This Ugandan arrived here. Yes. No, but this Uhuru and Nani would not be here. I swear in the name of God. They were not going to be here. People had kept quiet. So you need another courageous person, not even from whether from the moon or Jupiter, to come and say, you know what, Mr. President, this is a problem. This is the man, these are people who are corrupt. Say it. And time has come. It is here. This time of this thing of cushioning, coating things.
It's not helping.
People are coating things. Everybody here is sick, mourning. From ministers, president, everybody is mourning. I'm telling you the truth. Everybody is. Now, if you don't come out and say who is corrupt, who is going to name the corrupt person? Who? If they fear to name, let them bring evidence. We name. Like I did. You remember that the people feared. Let me tell you, I called a press conference in one of the hotels. People, even journalists feared coming. Then later on towards the end, they all filled the room. When I was going to expose OTP4, because they had read a very stupid law in the ICC saying that you will be imprisoned for 5 years. I said, to hell, bring it. I was ready. You can imagine I was ready to go for 5 years. In Britain, I will only work for 2.5 and write another book. Because I will be jailed. You can only jail me in Belmarsh, where Taylor is. The best prison, which is more or less like a 5-star hotel. Where facilities are there, you play, then maybe you reduce a bit of weight. Yes. But I stood and said, this is OTP4, is a fake witness, and that's the type of courage we need now. Not this morning, every day, morning.
And one of our viewers here, Mushiri Wanjoroge, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I don't know where you're watching us from. You could let us know. You're saying much of the problems arise from the institutions. They are saturated with people who are very corrupt, compromised, they lack patriotism and willingness, and have misplaced priorities, and highly incompetent. He's really summoned this whole thing.
Exactly. And that is exactly what I wrote yesterday.
Yes.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and the President Museveni and others should start teaching lessons on patriotism. Because that brings us to our second topic of Museveni. But let's finish this first. Patriotism in Kenya is needed now.
It is.
Otherwise, we are done.
It is.
These people know who has stolen, but nobody comes out. If you come out on social media, you have seen my sister. At times, I think you even want to call me to say, David, don't touch the social media. Yes. They insult me more than they can insult Uhuru Kenyatta. They tell me lots of things, all the manner of things. And I have never blocked anybody. I've left them to say whatever they want to say.
To speak their mind.
Yes, and that is very good. And then at times some of them even come back and say, I thought you were going to block me. I said, no, I don't block people. They have insulted me because of being frank. We have been talking about this money, 1 billion. Now, how Kenya lost 1.4 billion to China company.
Yes. For a geothermal well that never even took off.
Geothermal. And you know anything that deals with those smaller, we know where the whole thing is heading to.
And it's not even small. The deal was for 5.8 billion, and the guys were given an upfront of 1.4 billion, and it just disappeared like that.
If you talk of geothermal, the thermal
power, yes.
Power.
Yes.
You know there is someone there. There's someone, a specialist here.
Above.
Hey. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Geo, if you talk about Geo, is it all Karao?
Let me just read this for our viewers. So
there's someone, there are people there, specialists.
On power matters. So the headline on the Standard says exposed how Kenya lost 1.4 billion Kenya shillings to China company, and it goes ahead to say 3 years after signing a contract to drill 5.6 billion worth of Kenya shillings of geothermal wells, farm has neither showed up on the site nor refunded money it was advanced even before it started working. 3 years. It has never even showed up.
Maybe it also has a letter of guarantee.
Of course, from the bank.
You know, there's someone using this letter of guarantee. Jermaine, but the president, Mr. President, what is it that you want us to do? Surely, someone is using these techniques of saying there's a letter of guarantee. Someone has manufactured students. You know, he has brought them. You know, those days Kenyans used to create colleges for witnesses. This one has created colleges for fraudsters.
Yes.
There are principles of fraudsters, fraudulent men here.
This year should go for the bank.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Their role is to smell where there is a tender. Especially in that geo thing. If I tell you this company, now it reminds me in Intercontinental Hotel, I found another man's PA with 6 Chinese in black, well-organized suits. Now, this year, I talked to me. This is serious. They were there, they organized with Chinese. All the boss is about to, don't worry. Then I asked him, when can you lead a delegation of Africans? Do we Africans don't do business? Do we? And he laughed. Now this is how many years? 3 years down the road?
Yes. 1.5.
And they take, you see what this, this certain man here, or woman, who is doing these things in Kenya, he doesn't care the consequences. And for you, if you are lulled into this trap, be prepared to die alone. He makes the person who is doing this, makes sure that he cleans everything. And you who is even in Muthaiga prison, police cell, you fear to mention the name. That's why the DCI came and said above. You had the CDI in Bomas.
Yes.
He said they tell us above. Who is this above man? Why don't you name to us? If Kenyans are fearing, people will name them from BBC in London.
Like the gold. What is his name?
Golden.
When he went to.
Yes.
Yes, I forgot.
We name them. We can name in CNN. I can call Sky News here. They will give me a channel. They will open quickly for me. I name and go home. Yes, and I If they are fearing to name these guys, who say that the people are dying of, there is no money.
People are dying.
There is no money amongst the people. Mr. President, there is no money amongst the businessmen. People who used to sell 10 shirts, they are selling 1 shirt.
True.
10 dresses, Mr. President, there is no money. And that's the truth. And if things go like this, it comes worse every day. Every day. And remember, the best enemy of idleness is poverty. If you are idle and you have poverty, you can resort to murder. You can resort to joining anyone.
And hopelessness, yes.
And hopelessness. So, Mr. President, under the country, there is no money here.
Yes.
There are people you walk the streets, people cry tears. And when you hear 1.4 billion stolen, someone just brought a team and told them quickly, who was this paying quickly? Why don't you just arrest Rotich and put him inside? Why are you keeping him there?
The fact that
who was releasing this money?
He's still in office. Really,
he's in office. Why was he releasing this money? And you play about him. Call him again. Call him again. Call him again. Why don't you call him and take him to your bedroom? Ugandan Kenyans are fed up. Every African who comes here talks about corruption. Who was saying this? President. President Uhuru himself was saying that every African leader who comes here talks about corruption. Even when at their place corruption is worse. But they say, but we look at you as the people. Sorry. Because if Kenya collapses, Miriam, we are done. For us in the hinterland, Uganda can afford to have whatever problems it has, but not Kenya. Did you know strategically, we have to defend Kenya more than Uganda, strategically.
Yes.
Yes. Because if Kenya collapses, Uganda is no more. You can see one time to close, if Kenya closes the border at Malaba and Abusia, Uganda will be finished.
Yes.
It will be finished.
Yes.
So what is the strategic motive of Uganda is to defend Kenya in order for Kenya to remain stable, workable state, not corrupted state. That's why people talk about Kenya. Because don't blame people who talk about Kenya. You are doing a deal in South Africa. You want to finish it in Kenya, in Nairobi. The next version, I was working with Sky News. Let me tell you, this is different. We wanted to shift the headquarters from South Africa, Johannesburg, to Nairobi. I pushed it so much because I wanted to create my East African people jobs. Richard Murdoch called me in the office and told me, no, we are still in South Africa because we are waiting for Mandela to die first. Huh? Wow. That's what they told me. That was a strategic move for the television to stay in Johannesburg. Sky News. And that's why it was the headquarters in Africa were in Johannesburg.
Yes.
Later on, after the death of Mandela, of course, I had left. I had lost my job because of defending Ruto and the president in the ICC. They said I tampered with witnesses, and they cancelled my contract. I lost my job. But later on, they said they are moving the headquarters. In fact, we went and got a house in Westlands. And they are in the process of moving the headquarters here strategically for news in East Africa. So Kenya is the open door.
Yes.
It is the door that opens Africa. Especially for it to be corrupt, for people to hear of this. Someone sits in a hotel and reads this 1.4 billion gone. They paid. Why was Rotich releasing this money? Why? Why was Rotich releasing this money? How long are we going to suffer at the expense of patronage? How long will Kenyans suffer, Mr. President? Because some people are your relative, you said it, some people are your friends. How long? Take them on. Take them on.
Yes, indeed.
You are alone. We have only 3 years left for the legacy. I wanted to fast. You know, originally, I wanted to do this big four. People did not want it to be done my way. Now, there you are. I told you. Do you know what I had wanted to do? First of all, sensitize people. We needed to sensitize people on the big four everywhere. Have a team that goes to every county to find out the priorities. Get your priorities and the research papers and the research on county number 10, 20 counties, 5 counties. Their first priority is food security. If you ask today the government whether they have done a research paper whether Nairobi needs food security or housing, they can't tell you. I swear no minister can bring it. Hakuna.
Because each county has its own pressing issues. They're not all the same.
Exactly.
Yes.
For this big four to work hard, we should have started the My Method. My Method, which I suggested, was very good. Go to each county, have people on the grassroots to tell you what problems people want. People want hospital. There are priorities. You can't avoid medicine. You can't avoid food.
Yes.
Those are priorities. Now, where do you place the industry? How are you going to place an industry in Wanjir when there is no power to serve even a smaller kiosk? Priority. Industries must be placed in another category of industrialized access where infrastructure is, where power is accessible, is put to the industry for production. So we should have, first of all, sat down and weighed which type of agenda for, what do they need. Then by now, we roll. We would know concentrating that in Wanjir, people want infrastructure, roads, feeder roads, to be able to move into the main roads and the goods come. Camera milk. The milk from the camera is very sweet from Dwale's place, Mandela.
Yeah,
is it Mandela or?
The camel milk, yeah.
Is it Dwale from
I think Mandela, I think. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But camel milk is very sweet.
Not
very,
Mandela.
Very nutritious.
It's from one of the, it's Wanjir, I think. I don't know, one of the constituencies where he has cameras. You see? You would have quite a lot of feedback, and then you can now roll out your agenda number, the big four.
So there seems
people,
to be...
all what I saw next week, next time, I saw some women coming up with these things on TV.
Yes.
And they can't even explain something. I was shocked. I'm very shocked.
Yes.
Up to today, I'm very shocked.
So there seems to be...
Now you can see it is 3 years gone. There is nothing.
Nothing that really seems to move because there seems to be a lack of consultation with really what matters to the common Mwananchi down in the roots. Nobody really went there and asked them what exactly they wanted and what was the priority.
Yeah, go to Kisumu and ask somebody about the fish. Sorry. About the food. About the food security. He says he needs that weed on the lake to go away. He will get fish.
And they need cold rooms there to store the fish.
Those are priority areas we should have made.
And they need
There's plenty of
see
food
how
already.
they can capitalize on the nice airport now. The Kisumu airport has really been upgraded, so they need to find ways in which they can make use of it and actually capitalize and see it, because it's a great resource in that side of the country, and really it's just there. What else can they do with it outside of just planes coming in and picking people and dropping people?
And let me tell you, one of the problems why Mujingo Island is very lucrative for everybody.
Yes.
It's fish.
Yes.
It's the coolest point of
Lake Victoria.
Or Lake Victoria, where the other side of Lake Victoria, there's Kagera River running with a lot of
the famous Kagera River.
Yes, the famous Kagera River, the River Nile.
Yes.
So water going out.
Yes.
Fish cannot stabilize. So this other side of Mugingo Island, that's where the fish breeds.
Okay.
And I'm sure the President Museveni knows.
Of course he does.
Why he needs that Mugingo Island.
We both need Mugingo Island.
Yes, I hope the committee working on it must know why people have taken it and they are there and why they should all be allowed to enjoy the island, because there is fish. That tilapia is needed in London.
And it's a good one.
And you said about the planes, why I'm talking about the planes. Kisumu Airport could have refrigerated airplanes landing at Kisumu and landing in London the same day.
It's possible.
No, it's not possible. It is happening in Entebbe. In the Entebbe Airport, there are 2 planes taking tilapia fish. I don't want to name the owner of the company. But since this person is doing credible business, straightforward business, I leave it to God. There's 2 planes of fish is landing in Heathrow Airport or Gatwick Airport. Actually, Gatwick. Then transported to the markets, fresh from Lake Victoria, from Uganda product. Someone is earning daily. Kenya can earn daily from that Lake Victoria. That's food production. Get refrigerated containers. Give to the people of Kisumu refrigerated containers. They go and fish and put the fish in refrigerated containers. So whoever wants to come to buy finds even the fish, so that the farmer can take time to repair his canoe so that he doesn't have a hole, because why the canoe has a hole, it is constantly working. There is no time for checking whether there is a hole or not to seal it, so that you don't drown. It will give you, if refrigerated container can keep fish for 2 weeks without it getting spoiled. And you don't need the power to supply to the refrigerated container. Why don't we think like that? There is money in all these departments. There is thinking that Africa should start thinking, Jamen.
About being self-sufficient and self-reliant. And of course, Abdi Samad Ali, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You're saying you do not understand how China can fish in African water and sell the fish back to Africa. It beats all logic.
Exactly. China comes at Kisumayo. One of the problems why people don't want to leave Somalia is the coolness, the softness, the humbleness of the water around the Horn of Africa, based on the geological platonic movement. Wagwan. That's it. I'm also a geologist if you want. Because you can't be a PhD holder without knowing the platonic movement of the things in the Indian Ocean.
But of course.
Unless you are stupid, you didn't go to good school, you picked a degree from New York streets. You must know platonic movement of this, all this, that in the Kismayo enclave, there is a cool, the deepest port on the East African Indian Ocean.
Deep sea, yes.
Deep sea is Kismayo. Fish like where there is calmness to breed. That's why you see so many Filipino, Chinese, Swedish, Japanese, trawlers coming to fish to take with big nets. While the Somali are watching. Another way of solving the Somali problem is equip the Somali younger youth with refrigerated containers. And tell them bring AK for each container. We need 50 AK-47. Bring it, we give you one container with a boat. People will bring these guns.
Yes, indeed.
There is no incentive of finishing this war. We don't have all these methods of finishing the war. I'm now speaking as an African. Kill me if you want. But I'm speaking the truth. Haki ameshafika hapo kwa point hiyo. Naambia watu ya haki sasa. They don't have any iota of how they will finish this war in Somalia. Tell me.
Yes, indeed.
If you keep on fighting with the boots, how long will you fight with the boots?
They need to change strategy now.
Exactly. Kenya needs to change its strategy. President Museveni, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the rest, Djibouti and Ethiopia needs to sit down to change its strategy. What is it that has made this more rebels are being conquered? ISIS is conquered in Syria. Don't wait until they regroup through Yemen and they end up in Somalia. Coming
back again, yes.
So let's not wait. Let's use a method that can even make all the countries around the Horn of Africa can help.
Yes, and Disamad also raises here a very interesting point. He's saying the Somalis tried, but they were called pirates. Was it a strategy to get them off the sea and to bring the foreigners? Now, if you think about it, when you put it the way you're putting it, I'd never thought about it in this way. You have
seen that?
Yes. When you think about it, so when Somalis tried to do that, they were labeled pirates because they needed them off the sea.
Yes.
And the foreigners came.
So that they continue to take the fish.
Look at that.
I always bring, this is the brain of Africa. I always bring things. There's nobody, if people want examination, instead of talking about me all the time, let's do an exam. Come and let's sit down, bring your questions. I will answer everything and get marks on anything on this, in this Africa, on this Great Lakes region and anywhere. Contemporary Africa. Trust me.
All right.
Trust me.
Thank you so much, Abdi Samad, for that. Please keep engaging with us. And of course, our viewer, Raxton Lag, is saying you're watching us all the way from New York City. Thank you so much. And it is, I think, good morning there. And Eze Tobias, you're saying you're watching us all the way from Spain. Good day to you too. And Nwaiga Tita, you're saying French Cameroon's army bans another capital in the district of Muyuka. I think we have a topic on Cameroon, and we'll come to that. Hopefully, you'll still stay with us, and please keep tuned, and we'll read that when we get to that topic. And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Very interesting sentiments there. And somebody here wrote something. Okay. Omboye, you're saying, I have always said Rotich is the hookworm. He pretends to be so good, but he is being used and is playing the game. Omboye, he's saying, I have always said Rotich is the hookworm. He pretends to be so good, but he is being used and is playing the game. Rotich, the CS Rotich.
Of course. Of course. Of course, I told you. I'm telling you the truth.
No wonder he sits there with impunity.
Yes, Rotich. How did this money get out without Rotich's consent? What was he paying for? I told you I found Chinese with a current PA who is an MP now. He was with about 7 Chinese. And they were talking about Geo. I sat on the next table and I listened.
The same Geo here?
Yes.
This one that has lost money.
I'm telling you. I listened. And then he had gone to the toilet in Intercontinental. Then he came back. Oh, Dr. Matanga, you are here. Oh, you have had your tea. I said yes. Then with Chinese in the same color of suits.
Black and white shirt?
No, this time they had suits. Then they had their files. You see, as an investigative chap, I was looking at their files. I could see geothermal somewhere there in
Olkalau.
I saw that. Then I asked some of them, I said, oh, you are an expert. He said, yes, we are an expert in geothermal. Today, this scandal is here. And they were going to see the same man.
5.8 billion.
I swear.
Yes.
They were going to... So, he what too? These are the people are fighting for. The PA is now in parliament. He's a member of parliament. Very vocal. Interesting. And they were going to see the Minister of Finance. Now I remember. Now you can see this is here. I've told you that the Anti-Corruption Commission, Major Mutwalib, walk with pingos. Go and sit in one of these hotels, pretend to be taking your tea with a newspaper. You will catch so many thieves. You will catch even those files you are looking for. They are with them. They are with them. They are there. Everybody you find very early in the morning, well dressed, they are doing a deal. Which deal? Stealing Kenyans.
Tenders. All right.
Now this one has even shocked me.
Yes.
Because I know the person. I remember that morning he told me he's going to see the Minister of Finance. With 6 Chinese. Very well dressed in nice suits with white, blue shirts and a bluish, the darker blue, black there. Very nice. And this man, for the first time, he had dressed in a suit. I think it came from the same proceeds.
It was a very important meeting.
Yes. And he kept on telling them the boss he has just finished the first meeting. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much, viewers. That is the life we have in Kenya, and we continue to do so. May God hold us. We fight. We help President Uhuru Kenyatta to fight corruption. Yes.
And before we just get away from the Somali issue, I think it has raised a bit of issues with our viewers here and interest. And Don Diallo, you're saying the Somalis failed in having a united face in naval operations, and so it was easy to have been vilified and labeled as pirates. So this is something that actually, people out there have been, thinking about. All of a sudden, the piracy in the seas of Somalis have ceased, and since foreigners took over, the seas in Somalia. So,
Stephen says, I am pissed off. Stephen, yes, and I'm also pissed off. You can call us.
Yes.
I'll give you the microphone today.
Yes.
This is too much, man. You look at this, man. I was listening to this. I was sitting, eating my breakfast. Then I listened, I watched this team of Chinese. Now look, if I had the powers to arrest, I would have arrested these people. Because they were talking of going to see the minister.
Oh, you could still go to the DCI.
No, I don't want the DCI to do what? If DCI cannot
record a statement.
No.
We must help the president to fight this thing.
I am, by helping now.
Yes.
I can tell the DCI boss who the MP was. He's in there an MP, very vocal against Uhuru Kenyatta. Very vocal. Amezungumza mengi sana against Uhuru Kenyatta. Huyu mjamaa. We have a very big problem. Stephen wants to speak live. He's fed up.
All right, as we wait for Stephen to speak, Paul Kag, you're saying, well, I Minister of Finance. Yes, indeed. I'm just as shocked as you are, all of us. And Mbo, you're saying, very unfortunate that one wing of Jubilee is stealing from Kenyans mercilessly. They have vowed to steal without shame. Uhuru must do something, or Kenyans get them and ban them in public. We don't want to incite such moves, but I think from what I gather, you're saying, radical measures need to be taken if the fight against corruption must really, be fruitful. So, all right. Let me see. And prayers, you're saying Chinese are frying popcorn on the streets of Cameroon. Okay, they're very industrious, I suppose.
They are going to fry everything.
Popcorn. They sell stuff here that you wouldn't even imagine. All right, I think.
Okay, let's look at, as we wait for Stephen to call and talk about this subject. Let's move on the subject of Kenya-Uganda relationship. President Museveni was here over the weekend. He charmed from Wednesday up to Friday. The whole of Kenya was charmed.
And he ended the visit by visiting a retired president.
Yes, he visited the retired president. Of course, President Museveni and the retired President Moi.
They had a relationship.
Yes.
A good working relationship between the two countries.
They had a very good working relationship in those days when President Museveni was a rebel leader in fighting us in government. Yeah, he was given sanctuary and a lot of facilities by President Moi. And thank you very much. We paid the price for having rescued Raila Odinga. Thank you very much. Our government paid the price. Moi bundled us on a plane and threw us out. Thank you very much. 1987, my president, late President Obote, was put in a cargo plane to go to Zambia. Some of us refused and ran out. That's where we found ourselves in those cold countries. Yes, thank you very much, President Moi. Yes, because we you know why? The hatred was simple. We rescued Raila Odinga from the slaughter. He was going to be slaughtered. Have you ever seen Raila Odinga in South Matanga? Ever. He will never. Thank you very much, good old man. I support you. I'm the one who you know, chunya, but he doesn't. Because he's a mature man. Not like these other small men running around insulting me. He doesn't. But we pay the price. And let it be known that Obote is gone, but there are Obote people here, like me, who will speak the truth until death. Yes, we paid that price.
Yes.
Our president was put in a cargo plane, thrown out of this country. To Kaunda. Nyerere refused to welcome us for the second time. Because Nyerere said, no, mulikuwa hapa, you do not do anything. We were thrown in Lusaka airport. Some of us could not go to Lusaka. We chose to go to our way to leave Moi's territory alone. So thank you.
Moi was no joke.
Yes, thank you. History must be told to the younger men listening, watching us.
Yes.
And I think Abdul Salam Ali knows this. Yes. So let's talk the truth. We haven't talked yet. We have not reached the stage. The time is coming. Time is coming. Watch it. The clock is ticking, man. It is ticking. You can be Pharisees, but you'll never defeat us. We're many.
Is that a coded language?
Don't worry. We have had enough.
Yes. For those who have ears, let them...
Yes, because enough is enough. Friends are friends. We are friends.
Yes.
I am a friend of the people of Kenya. I stood by these friends. But the treatment is not very good. Time will come. Time is... You know what? You don't calculate. This one is a real one. The battle of battles. People, let's be very honest, people have suffered. The biggest thing, under Benazir Bhutto, the assassinated lecturer of mine in London Guildhall University, when she was also doing her PhD there, the same, she could attend some of the classes of political science and international relations with me. But in the day, she comes to teach us in the morning to earn a living. You can imagine. She said the biggest thing for life, democracy, is to revenge. Let democracy revenge.
So democracy is revenging now?
No.
Not yet.
Democracy, revenge. The biggest price you can give to anybody is revenge with democracy.
Okay. So I think Steve is just joining us now.
Thank you very much, Steve. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is the Punchline Africa TV.
You're live.
You are live on Punchline Africa TV.
Yes, Masanga. Good afternoon.
I am not the. Are you talking about the subject on the?
Good afternoon to you, Steve. You're live on our show, Africa Showdown. So, what is your contribution to the show today?
Steve.
Yes, Masanga.
Yes, sir. It seems you don't want to hear the good voice of my sister. She is welcoming you to Punchline Africa TV. We are live. Any contribution to the subject?
I just want to comment about the corruption and the Museveni visit to Kenya.
Cut it, point by point.
Now, let me start with this Museveni visit to Kenya.
Yes.
I think as East African community, or as brothers and sisters, it is not fair for Museveni to come to Kenya and tell us that they have signed an agreement to allow Uganda, who is our brother, to import almost everything. Every commodity, every item that we need in our household, leaving Kenyans with nothing to actually export to Uganda. That is not brotherhood. That is another form of corruption in African assets.
So, in your analysis, what did Museveni do wrong?
You see, Masanga.
Yes.
We have been friends for so long. I've followed you since the day you were criticizing Raila was in NASA, you're in Jubilee. Remember?
Yes, sir.
You have always corrected me when I go wrong, right?
Yes, sir.
If you see your brother going wrong, you don't let your brother drown in a river.
Yes, sir.
You direct them to the right path, right?
Yes, sir.
Museveni is taking advantage of our corrupt system.
Yes.
And he's seeing that our system we are seriously into Western and the Asian system.
Yes.
Where we as Kenyans, we are not producing anything.
Yes.
We are depending 100% on the importation of goods. Almost everything. So he has seen this loophole and is coming in. Instead of helping us to come out of the mess that we are in, he's putting us in another mess.
What mess?
If we are going to even import eggs from Uganda, surely.
Yeah, but if the chicken...
Is that brotherhood?
No, let me ask one question. Pause it there, Stephen. Is there chicken producing enough eggs in Kenya?
The reason why there are no chicken producing enough eggs in Kenya,
yes,
is because the system is corrupt.
But then why don't you blame the corrupt system and not Museveni? Museveni is coming in to bring in sugar. For example, your sugar imports are not enough, and Uganda has a surplus sugar which is not eaten. Do you want Uganda to send this sugar somewhere else, yet Kenya needs it?
What I'm trying to say, Masanga,
yes,
is that Museveni as the elder of the East African people,
yes,
he should come up with a solution, not be part of the problem.
But he has come. Museveni cannot. Stephen, let's go slowly. Museveni cannot start shooting corrupt people in Kenya.
I agree with you.
Museveni is not going to come to arrest corrupt people whom you know. You know. You yourself, why don't you name the corrupt people? You're a Kenyan.
On this platform,
yes, I
have always named the corrupt people, and you know it.
Name them.
I'm on record.
Name them.
One is the DP.
But that's the only best way to help the president of Kenya. But you can't blame Museveni for him bringing in his eggs. When you don't have the eggs or sugar, there is enough sugar in Uganda because he has been strict.
Masanga.
Yes.
It is the same Museveni,
yes,
who has been giving a safe haven to the DP, who is, we know that is corrupt.
Oh, yes.
We know that there's a land in Kapchoro that has been allocated, Kapchoro at the side of Uganda, that has been allocated for DP.
Yeah?
We know that most of the money that were looted from our government were taken to Uganda.
Oh.
So he's the same guy who is corrupting the East African system. I've always defended him. You remember when, I think it was around 3 weeks ago,
yes,
that I called here and I said that Kagame is a CIA puppet.
Yes.
I was defending Museveni.
Yes.
As a true African son,
I hope
I believe that Museveni, he has had, I think he now wants to use the Western culture to enrich himself, to stamp his authority within the East African people. But let me tell him here that if Kenya bleeds, Uganda will be in problem. Because if I'm angry, I will not be angry. And Masanga, your home in Uganda has a banana. We'll go and eat that banana, whether you like it or not.
I don't know whether Miriam has a question for you. Boss, Stephen, yes, you have said, I hope the people watching for the president are listening to this. Yes, because this is not our view. That's a disclaimer. We put a disclaimer on it. It is coming from a viewer. You have said President Museveni is protecting a corrupt person. Is it true?
He's corrupt. No, Masanga.
Yes.
We need to be straight to the point because corruption is eating us and it's going to eat the next generation.
Yes.
Not Museveni is protecting one individual called William Ruto, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is corrupt. Most of his properties has been hidden in Uganda. He has given Ruto land in Kapchorwa to cultivate maize so that they can import the same maize to Kenyans. You see that? We know all the system. We know how he's working. So is that how to be a brother's keeper?
No.
Museveni should come out and tell us, when he come here, he want to lecture us on how to do things while he's not doing the right thing. He should be our brother. He should be our brother's keeper because he's the eldest. He's the eldest president in East Africa.
Your Excellency President Museveni, hold on, Stephen. A caller by name Stephen is online and he's expressing his views. Yes. Go ahead.
Masanga.
Yes.
I want to request His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, President Museveni,
yes,
that I've always been your #1 supporter. Because I always see you as someone who is protecting Uganda from the Western invasion. But on this one, you got it wrong.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. We lost Stephen there, but Stephen was expressing the views.
Very.
Oh, he comes back again. Yes, Stephen.
Matanga.
Yes.
I was saying that President Museveni must know that everybody in East Africa is now looking into him for advice. We want him to lead by example. We want him to be a good leader by not corrupting other systems for his own benefits. These deals that he's making with President Uhuru Kenyatta, perhaps he's the one who is going to benefit a lot, personally, not the Ugandans.
But there is a caller by name Kipitum Samei Arab Kuchurei.
Yes.
And let's read it for you. Let's read for you the comment he has made.
Yes, Kiptum is saying that Uhuru and Museveni's bilateral agreements were 100% in order. It was very mutual, give and take, and he says that he trusts Uhuru on this. And he's saying that you're very aggressive in putting in place long-term infrastructure, and he thinks whatever you're saying does not hold.
And this Stephen, Mr. Kiputunui Samei Arab Kuchurei says the agreements were in order. The bilateral agreements were 100% good for Kenya, and there is nothing wrong that Uhuru did. They are very, 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 very good ones, and he's saying what you are talking is trash. Exactly.
I used a better word.
Insults on your Facebook page. I think I always go through your page. Is it the same
Yes, I think he's the one, but today...
But yeah, I think he's also expressing his views.
This deal is going to benefit his political master.
Yes.
This deal is going to benefit the DP a lot. So he can praise it. Even if he will go angry, he can still praise it. But he is not thinking about the next generation.
What
I'm trying to say is, Masanga.
Yes.
If Museveni allocate land for someone to steal money from Kenya, pay for the land in Kapchorwa, Uganda, cultivate maize, and import the same maize to our Kenyans, is that good for a developing country like Kenya?
No.
Then what are we talking about here?
Okay, what do you talk about the dry port?
The dry port?
Yes.
The dry port, I think I was in a forum where I said I do not want to talk about the dry port in East Africa because you see the port of Mombasa, Masanga.
Yes.
If we are developing countries, we are investing billions and billions of money into SGR system that is going to run within the East African community. Do you think we still need the dry port?
I think so. You know why you need a dry port is for quick clearance. Because at Mombasa everything is logged up. You are not losing anything in Mombasa. The clearing agents, the receiving agents, the consignees will still go on and clear the goods in Mombasa, put them on rail. The quickest way to clear in a bigger place with all warehouses, Kenyans will work in Naivasha. Naivasha will spring up as the second short-term tourist destination over the lake, and many hotels will come up, and that is very good for us.
Why don't you do the same in Busia? Why don't you build a dry port in Busia or somewhere in Webuye or Kisumu or because if we are going to have dry port in Naivasha, we have another port in Kisumu. Why do we have to invest all this money in other areas while we are still developing and servicing our loans?
Okay. I think the people who are handling this are listening.
Because we have a port in Kisumu.
Yes.
Right? Why don't we expand this port in Kisumu? And if we are to build a dry port so that to facilitate the quick delivery of these containers, then why don't we build a dry port in Busia?
Dry port, yes. I think I have a point. My points are reserved for the moment, but I think you have a serious point. Because Kisumu can also be another dry port.
Dry port that we are going to use the lake,
yes,
and also the railway at the same time. Why do we have to build? We use a lot of money in building dry port in Naivasha while we have an existing port in Kisumu.
That is underutilized, actually.
Underutilized. I think this is the debate that we want on our national televisions and other channels like this one. The points you are raising, Stephen, are very crucial. But there are other people on this other side that are also giving you.
And I think we have a problem.
And can you turn down your PC? Can you turn down your TV?
You might have to just put him off for now until he's able to sort that out, because it's down now.
I am happy that you are watching from a very big screen. I know you. You like this program so much. Stephen, thank you very much. Now we are moving on.
Because you see, Masanga, you have given us a platform to interact with one another as brothers, as Africans.
Yes.
That is the most important thing.
Thank you.
We are brothers. And I'm sure that you're also educating people.
Thank you.
And this legacy is going to run for a very, very, very long period of time. And we need to poke our leaders' eyes and tell them that, you know what, this is 2019. We want things to be done the right way so that we also build a legacy for the next generation.
So
if you mess up now, the next generation is going. We are going to have a generation where children will be poorer than their parents.
Stephen, so what?
If you're not careful.
Steve. So what I hear you say is you have a problem with the part of the land allocation that was allocated to President Museveni by President Kenyatta.
Yes.
And why would that be?
I have a problem with this. I think I've said it and I'm going to repeat it. It's not for any bad intention. As a Kenyan, I'm so much concerned about our loans, about how our economic system is being run. Because you wake up today, you find so and so run away with billions. So and so run away with billions. And these billions, they are affecting my life. They are affecting your life. They will affect the life of the next generation. If we are a country that is servicing a very serious loan, then why do we have to build a port in Naivasha when we have so many existing ports? We can expand the port of Kisumu and transport goods, because I saw them, the Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania had signed an agreement that they are going to make sure the Lake Victoria infrastructure is reviewed. So why are we using billions of money in Lake Victoria at the same time we're using billions of money in building ports in Naivasha? Why? Can somebody make me understand this?
All right, thank you so much. I think we get your point.
We have a border in Busia. If we are to build a serious port with any bad intention, then it has to be at the border then. If you don't want to do the Kisumu port, then build it at the Busia border. In fact, it is going to be more effective than even the one you are building in Naivasha.
Prayers, Amen, says, be aware of the Chinese. Somebody has commented. Abdallah Nasir said, Abdul Hamad from Somalia, Mogadishu, said, we have fixed the sound now because the radio was up, or your PC or your television.
And I think he'll be quick to tell you it's from Norway now.
Yes, it's from Norway, sorry, from Norway, who has been watching us. Yes. And there are so many comments that have come. John Clark says, you should take this evidence to the DCI. Yeah, it says.
Yes, the allegations.
That's very crucial evidence you have.
Yeah, the DCI could be looking for that information you have.
My last point on corruption in Kenya, Masanga.
Yes.
I think I have been following your Facebook and Twitter posts. And I am very keen on analyzing them. I look at the comments and you see things have shifted. That the youth at my age are defending corrupt people while they are more poorer than these people.
Thank you. You are right.
You are not.
You are right.
Okay, and
they are looking at their political masters. These guys are enriching themselves. These guys are getting old day by day. But you are still very young. You are defending this corrupt leader. Tomorrow, this leader will not be there. Where will you be? Where will the economy be? Where? I want them to answer that question. Before they yell any insult on me or you, they should ask themselves this question, that tomorrow, when Ruto is no more in political
landscape,
where will this youth be? How will their life be when the economy is run down with the same people? Where will they be? They should ask themselves this question. The war on corruption that the president is fighting is not targeting anybody. In fact, it is good for youth. So they should not look at this thing as if one of them is being targeted. We should unite and fight and help Masanga. I know you are fighting for this thing and you are not even Kenyan. They are not seeing this.
I tell you, I've suffered the insults, and I think you look at them at times and sympathize with me. But here I am, I'm resilient, man, don't worry. You saw me in the Uganda peace process, I won. ICC, I won. Zimbabwe, I won. This one, I will win.
My only request to you, Masanga, that I know you can reach these people. Me, I'm just a small omena here.
Yes. Small omena.
Please fight for the unity of the East African people.
Okay.
Fight for the unity of the East African people. Reach out to President Kagame. Reach out to President Nkurunziza. Reach out to President Magufuli and Museveni and Oro. Let's make East African a united factor, a united force. Because we can only fight the West if we are united. We can only stop these people from bringing this money, because they are bringing their money from the left and taking it from the right.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are coming to a very crucial stage of our discussion. Next is South Africa.
Yes.
And I hope you will cry even more tears when you see the pictures that are coming out from South Africa. More tears will come. Thank you very much, Stephen. Continue watching. And the viewers, that is one of our callers. He has been following, and he made comments, very serious comments, regarding the situation, the visit. In fact, he has summarized
the whole thing.
The whole thing is the view. President Museveni's visit is to enhance, to integrate. But can integration be there when we are not on equal status? Can integration be there in Cameroon when Ambazonians are being quizzed, beaten, killed every day? Can integration be there in South Africa as we move on to South Africa now? And we see,
yes, indeed,
we shall see a few clips. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, some of the clips, we have removed them because they are very bad. The killings of...
They're very graphic.
Very graphic. We don't want to show them. It is not pictures picked from... These are real things happening in Durban, in all these towns, Johannesburg, Cape Town. They are really... In fact, they are killing fellow Africans. Africa on Africa. It's not the white supremacists. It is African killing another African for the sake of one African having come from another continent. That's all. And I've been crying about all these things every day on this television. I said the South African policy of xenophobia. When Zuma was there, I cried. Even they tried to harass me, the embassy here in Kenya. They said I was against their country. No, I was telling the truth. First of all, this South Africa, and we want to tell them the truth. These South Africans, you know, when you heal a leper, next time make sure the leper leaves one leg behind. South Africans are the people who used our passports. We paid the taxes to liberate them. But South Africans now kill other Africans. Surely, when you look at with hammers, they go and open the shop. Because they are lazy. South Africans are lazy.
Not all of them, though.
No. 3/4 of the younger generation of South Africa are lazy. They sleep up to 12 a.m. I've done research there. All what you find them with big cars, BMWs, in the big hotels, parking, you know, drink, eating, you know. Then these Somali, Nigerians, Cameroonians, other Ethiopians, Eritreans, they go, Mozambicans.
And Zimbabweans especially.
Zimbabweans.
A lot of them have moved to South Africa.
Yes, Zimbabweans, Kenyans. In fact, the group that is more hated in East Africa is Kenya. Ugandans, we are given respect. I don't know why. But they hate those groups I've just mentioned. They go and made the duka, the shops, corner shops, and started trading their spare parts, smaller things, chemicals, fertilizer, no, not fertilizer, pharmaceuticals, chemists, restaurants. These are people. If you people yourselves of the country are sleeping, you sleep up 12
And you need the services.
And you need the services.
So other people
now people have come and put up the services
to help you.
You need your phone to be fixed with a screen. You have bought these Chinese phones that break every time, which I don't have. Mine is not Chinese.
It's made in China, though.
No,
iPhone
no. iPhone is. I bought it in the US.
They're made in China.
Mama, I bought it in the US.
Check the cover.
I made. Oh no, it is not. So they fix your phone within 1 hour. You are back on air. These are the rest of Africans, Nigerians, Cameroonians, South Africans don't like them. Somali, in Cape Town. There's a corner where Somalis, and thanks God, there I want to encourage the Somali guys. They are well united. You touch one like this, they also come back fighting. So those South Africans, they have feared them a bit. But South Africans molest every tribe, especially Mozambicans. They hate them. And these are the guys. Is it the new generation? All South African ministers have our East African passports. Return them. And the worst thing I want to say, condemn President Ramaphosa today. Play that tape by Ramaphosa. Play it. Let people know who he is. Let people know who he is. Now I can agree that Mariakani was connived. If Ramaphosa can say such a statement, then I regret why he went to Uganda to marry a Ugandan, to take a Ugandan in South Africa. Play that tape of Ramaphosa. You saw the tape where President Ramaphosa was telling people, foreigners come. He is like a fatwa. He issued a fatwa to go and kill foreigners. Ramaphosa.
So it looks like it's from that really sparks the new
wave. It sparked the new wave of violence. Stephen, can you play the videos?
Everybody just arrives in our townships and rural areas and set up businesses without licenses and permits. We are going to bring this to an end. And those who are operating illegally, wherever they come from, must now know
A warning shot fired by number one.
Now heard for yourselves the clip, the video from President Ramaphosa himself telling people to attack, to go and make sure that the foreigners don't come into our country, take over our shops and the businesses. Surely a head of state.
But he has since also issued a statement, and in part of the statement he says that the president has since said that the attacks were a sign of intolerance and partly ingratitude for the role that other African countries played directly and indirectly in the long struggle against the apartheid regime. So
no.
Come out to condemn this.
He cannot condemn. Let him go and tell stupid people in Africa. And we don't want to entice people against them. Because we can also entice people wherever they are against them. South Africans have no manners. South Africans mistreat all African nationals. You cannot be, when you go there and you are in a hotel, South African tells you, welcome to Africa.
You know, you're right. There's another show I like watching from South Africa. It's called Scandal. And when they talk, I don't know, one of the, like, he went to Africa. I'm thinking, what do you mean? What do you mean he went to Africa? It's like there's South Africa, and then there's the rest of Africa.
The xenophobia, you know, Miriam, this is something that President Kenyatta, President Museveni, and other presidents, especially President Magufuli, should start addressing.
Yes, indeed.
Because people, these people in South Africa, including the Ramaphosa himself, he has another passport. He has not returned our passports. They better return the passports. I'm going to wage a war on them now. On the media, everywhere, I'm going to wage a war on South Africans. Because you cannot kill people. Play those tips Play them. Play the clips when they were killing people in Durban yesterday and Johannesburg and last week. Play them. You cannot kill Africans in presence of us. This is in Africa. You are calling for integration, and you used our passports. We paid for you to be liberated, and you come to tell people that Malema tells people that this is Africa. What Africa? What Africa? Why are countries in Africa keeping quiet? Why are ministers of foreign affairs only eating sausages instead of condemning such an action? Where is African Union here? How can you beat Africans, kill them like that? Surely you people, surely. Then what will a Mzungu do? What do you expect a Mzungu to do to us? If they are killing African, you look at that Somali man who was put out. People continue to get a stone. This boy is crying. His shop has been looted. They got a stone. Women, South African, shame on you. Shame on you. You should be condemned. The whole Africa should stand up. And Ramaphosa cannot say that we played a part. What? We played a real part. Did you have your passport? Return our passport, Ramaphosa. I can name and show the numbers of the passport you have. Because we are going to be very ruthless also. We have had enough. They beat Kenyans. They beat Mozambicans. They beat Nigerians. They beat Cameroonians. They are beating Somalis. They are beating Zimbabweans. This is not the Africa we want. I cannot be on an African platform and fail to condemn this stupidity of the highest degree. When they killed people in Mariakani, Ramaphosa stand around and said he was not. You can see the language he used. A whole president to say that you are sending hungry dogs to go and eat meat. They will go and eat it. The president should have been restrain the people by saying don't kill them. But he said they have come to the shops, to the cities, to the urban areas. If it is an election votes you are looking for, you can't look for the votes when you are killing us. We also helped you to run that country, to regain independence. Mandela in the grave. Mandela must be very upset. And may Mandela walk on you. May Mandela wake up and walk on you, Ramaphosa. May Mandela wake up and walk on you. You cannot kill Africans like that. Surely, you tell me, what is the use of Museveni telling us to integrate? To integrate where? The same behavior is here in Kenya. You saw what Kenyans on Twitter were doing. What they did. Justification. That why is, yes, they might have a problem. Why do you go? And the next time, let me tell some of these people who prepare President Museveni's visit, I'm now addressing it back. Learn what we call advanced team. If you don't have the knowledge, come to school. We shall teach you free. We shall teach you free. Free for you. Because it is becoming a very big problem. Why did you take a good lecture of Museveni to a university well known for chaos? Yes.
They heckled him.
No, not heckled. They disrupted.
Some part of the student, yes.
No, it's not some part. The whole outside was a war zone.
It was chaotic, yes. Very unfortunate.
And those handling President Museveni, next time, don't pretend to know more when you don't know anything. These signals were here. Everybody knew that Mwangi had paid money, had been paid money to heckle Museveni.
Boniface Mwangi.
Yes, you should have changed this, the lecture to Strathmore University. that hole there, it can take over 1,000 to 2,000 people. You know that hole of Stratum,
Yes,
and it is very security-wise. You know, some of these guys, they don't know anything. They run around security. Wapi? You see, Stratimo, you can control any demonstrator. Will be very far away, and the conference will take place peacefully inside. Here, they put the president at a risk. In fact, Mwangi, Boniface Mwangi, an NGO expert, George Soros, surrogate boy in Africa. I found him in a plane going to plant the same thing in Zimbabwe. Mwangi, you play around here, but come to Zimbabwe. We invite you to Zimbabwe. Senor,
but
Mwangi is playing a lot of politics here. Come to Zimbabwe. Come, baby. Come to Zimbabwe. Come down to Zimbabwe again. Let's meet you there. He told me in the plane that you and your friend Mnangagwa are going to go down. Come again. Sindio nataka kujua wewe unacheza na watu hapa. Kuja.
And he seems to
And I told him in a plane, if I ever see you in Zimbabwe, this is NGO man of George Soros, which he pays you in Washington. Until the French got annoyed and arrested him at the Paris airport. What was he going to carry? What did he carry? Where is your laptop?
He's very good friends with Bobby Wine, you know.
Yes, we're very good friend with Bob Wine. So what? Who is Bob Wine?
Because they were chanting that.
Yes, Bob Wine is who? He's a singer, small singer who cannot write an essay. Can Bob write an essay in English? Kenda. Bob Wine cannot write an essay in English, can he? Let him write one law in the Parliament of Uganda. One law Bob Wine cannot write. He can only use these small boys who are jobless to run around like somebody here uses small boys to give them airtime to harass Matanga. Pay them 780 shillings in South Matanga because he's supposed to Uhuru Kenyatta. Rubbish. That's rubbish, man. Who is Bob Wine? Bob Wine thinks he can beat us. Who started the struggle? Did Bob Wine start the struggle? Did he? He knows how many people we have lost. He knows. Does Bob Wine know how many people we have lost? Nyenye mujaribu. Bado. Some of us are battle-hardened soldiers. Yes. I tell you the truth. Watu wanakuona hapa wanafikiri wewe we are beggars. Tutarudi kwetu. Mimi nakwambia haki. Tutarudi. Mapambano bado. That Bob Wine, what? So, Bob Wine, you are going to insult Museveni in a lecture. Museveni's lecture on integration of Africa was very good. I give credit where it is due. I'm a frank man. It was very good lecture to listen to. Then this hooligan of open society. Mwangi, kuja tuende Zimbabwe. Kuja. Jaribu, just get a ticket, I will give you free. Tuende na wewe Zimbabwe. Nyenye mnachezea hapa. You are threatening Uhuru here. Mna threaten Uhuru every day. Threatening Uhuru every day. Yeah. What struggle does not come this way. Struggle is bad. Look at Ramaphosa. A man who has a passport, who has not returned it. That's why he has to look for the roots for the son marrying a Ugandan. A disgrace. Then he tells the people to go and kill people. Shame on you, Ramaphosa. You are killing Somalis. You saw that Somali boy with a woman getting a big stone.
I can't watch that.
I watched.
I can't.
A big stone. People with a spade. Look at that. This is South Africa. This is South Africa. Is this the South Africa that we stood for?
It's unfortunate.
Is this the South Africa that we stood for? We gave them everything. We are left with nothing. Is it the South Africa that we want? Is it this one that we want?
And one of our viewers here, audio Zach, thank you for watching. You're saying, I'm wondering how come that South Africans cannot kill Chinese traders in South Africa and the rest.
And they are killing blacks.
And Chinese has taken over the small business in the streets of a lot of African countries now. But they're killing their fellow Africans.
Where's the wrong? This is a wrong walk to freedom. Xenophobia everywhere. Look, that is South Africa. Mahatma Gandhi was there. Everybody was there. A great land. Viewers, this is the life we have. South African government must stand up, issue a statement, categorically distancing itself from the xenophobia that we have all seen. Pictures now don't lie. And don't think that the phones did not click from Johannesburg and Durban, where you are killing people. And you pretend to be very good people running around here. We give South Africans entry in Entebbe. President Museveni, you have done a very big mistake. In Entebbe, they come like this, the visa is stamped on the door. Have you seen how stupid we are? South African passports, they get their visa at Entebbe airport, like Kenya. For us, you have to carry a full box of documents, including your father's death certificate or Akiamungu. You go South Africa. You have to carry those things.
And those are some of the imbalances that even makes integration
difficult.
Yes.
You have, if you want a visa to South Africa, you have to carry a box of your death. If your father died when you don't know, you have to look for the death certificate. The questions they ask, they are stupid people. Stupid kabisa. I'm sorry, I'm not a diplomat. I'm an activist. So I'm talking from a Pan-African point of view. If Mandela was here, would listen to me. Why did Mandela go to rescue Gaddafi? And then Zuma sold Gaddafi. Zuma, shame on you. Paid money and sold Gaddafi. Resolution 1970 of the United Nations General Security Council. If South Africa had abstained, if Germany abstained, and Zuma told his diplomat to let's start that move on this continent. Let's see where they will go. Let's see. Even in the AU, we shall isolate them. We can start that journey. My mouth in this Africa, I will start the blood against them. I'm telling you. This mouth, I will put a program every day on Sky News. We shall finish you. That so-called economy, you will be in zero. These are very bad people. You can't beat. That Somali boy has pained me. Innocent Somali boy, a big stone, a woman carried a stone, and they are filming. They are filming.
Wow.
They hit a stone, the boy, oh my God, this is something that we should not have. And Zuma cannot, Mr. Ramaphosa cannot return our daughter and return our passport, Mr. Ramaphosa, which you have. You know where you got it. Obote died and left. We can bring the Uganda Agas when you are gazetted. Usifikiri tujui. We shall dig out. It's very sad. Africans killing Africans. They hate Nigerians because Nigerians are very active. South Africans sleep up to 12 noon. They sleep. You want to go to their embassy, you have your these so-called rands. You have plenty. A man like me, if I have rands, I want a visa, and you tell me to go and bring my father's death certificate. You even bring those memories of my father whom I have never buried, whom some people just beat and killed. You create me a problem to ask me to go and bring my father's death certificate. before the date of birth of your father. Some of us died when we don't even know the date of birth of our fathers. So those are colonial rules. Have you ever filled a visa that says so? And of what the dad is there for you.
Yes.
Your dad is a very
but still it's
a very organized soldier man.
But still it's unacceptable because if at all we have to achieve the kind of Africa we look forward to achieving.
We can't.
We cannot in this
Miriam, we can't. This Africa, you can't. If you want to see whether integration will work, Miriam, try to go for a visa in the South African embassy. Try, just try, even if you are not traveling.
It's okay, I'll go to Uganda.
Some of the people condemning President Museveni should also see Museveni has done very good on the question of Somalia. Look, Uganda is the only country in Africa where Somali population, one of the richest people in our country, you can count them to 60, 10, 20 are Somalis. We allow them entry without visa. Yes, despite the fact that some of their brothers are killing our troops in Somalia. But the thing that Museveni does very well, and let me tell you, he has created what we call the LOC system. If you are going to Entebbe and you say you are going, show us the name of your elder. Somali elders have clans. So if you are going to visit another elder in Uganda, we shall hand you over today. This is very good, Museveni. That's very good. You know, these are some of the things that people should have learned so that hunger does not strike Turkana again. Have you seen? Museveni disciplined the Karamojongs. Kudos, President, kudos. These were marauding army, taking our cows. You have your big cow in Siroko, Bugisu. They come at night, 200 of them armed with AK-47. You surrender your cows. Thank you, President Museveni. You finished them. They came back, and guess what? They now grow crops and bring them to our market in Mbale. Thank you. They now grow carrots, onions. This is what we should do to this Turkana, to pacify Turkana. That governor, that tall governor who talks, that was Pokot. He goes to Uganda to drink beer every day. Come and relax, eat chicken. Then he comes back. His people are looting, are dying of hunger. Why don't you use benchmark what Uganda has done and ask the government with a green paper? Say, please, we have a modernized army. It is in the barracks. It can go and look for these guns, house to house, helicopter to house. Bring them before you go back. And that's what Museveni did. I'm not Museveni's spokesman. I'm just an African speaking the truth. When he also makes a mistake, I also speak the truth. Like now, all the mistakes he made, I've already told him. I swear, I have called Rugunda. I've told him. I told him to tell him that I know what you are making. But that one, I'm frank. That's why I've lived longer. So those who think this is quite, it's in secrets, it's not. I've told Rugunda, I did not call Rugunda, he called me. Because I sent a message that the ABCD tell the president, don't go that route. Don't try me. I have nothing. I shook my hand, it is all over. It's over. The only problem we have is my money. 282,772.32 cents. Give it to me. European Union was going to give it to me. If the man had killed me, where would I be? That's all. I don't have any problem with President Museveni anymore. His democracy, time democracy will revenge. You know what? Remember Indira, not Indira Gandhi, Benazir Bhutto said the only thing you can give to humanity is democracy to revenge. That's all. Leave it. Hallelujah. Ugandans pray. That's all. Leave it. Don't fight. Don't even get guns that you fight. Basically, you know, don't be annoyed. Just organize your party. Democracy revenges. Revenges very seriously. And it comes in a very serious way. Please, unless you have not studied political science, but if you have studied it to level like I have, even if I'm in a dead coffin, I will answer you back. Democracy is very deadly. It revenges. It takes a revenge. Once it revenges, you don't stop it. So all these things, what they say, near just is one serious position I take and I've taken. Seriously, Miriam. Yeah, and I've told the Prime Minister, my friend, we are together. We sat together. I finished what you wanted. It's your side that has not finished their obligation. I finished mine. Is there any gun in northern Uganda? Why do you blame Matanga all the time? Matanga, Matanga. Why do you call me a rebel? I'm not a rebel. What the hell? The whole government officer comes here to call me a rebel? I'm not a rebel. I finished my job daytime. And I have letters signed by the EU, by Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, and the EU envoy Chisano, and the AU Secretary General Jean Ping. I have those letters mandating me, signed by Kenya, Kibaki, Kikwete, South Africa, everybody. I was mandated to finish terms of reference a war. I finished that war in northern Uganda. If there is any gun there, it's not my problem. Is there anybody? I'm not an international policeman, sir, Mr. Kutesa, for me to look for coin and stop talking about me. Because I own nothing on earth. I don't own the whole airport of Entebbe. I have nothing, not even urine. You own it. Nyenye watu.
They'll come for your good shots.
I don't have anything. I hate people coming. I have done a service. Yes. And I've been injured, Miriam. At times I cry tears. Then people come here gambling with words. You don't gamble with me. I have nothing to do with Mr. Bob Wine. I want him to return our red shirt, our red color, and register it back to Uganda House. The owner is here. If Obote's sons have surrendered those shirts to you, the owner is here. Because that's my party. Don't misuse my red shirts. Uganda People's Congress color is red. Unless Bob Wine surrenders into UPC, whom they did not like. Now, then, that's it. At least I would not have a problem if Mugisha Muntu was wearing the red shirt. Because Mugisha Muntu's father was a member of us. No problem. Even Mugisha Muntu grew up as us. But for Bob Wine to run around and cause commotion, that the people pay a few people here, it is not even Bob Wine. But Open Society Foundation of George Soros, that has infiltrated Kenyan system, paid for Mr. Mwangi to be at the university, which is well known for riots. Why do you take a lecture there? Mr. President, check on some of these people. Give jobs to people who can do them. Why do you, if you know, it was well-known intelligence
No, but he was tweeting. Mwangi was tweeting about it, so they knew it's going to happen.
Everybody.
It was not a.
Why didn't they tell the president not to go there? Change the venue.
But he
or cancel it.
He braved the whole thing, and he was able to deliver his speech. So that was good on the part of the president.
Yeah, because he's a soldier. But other presidents who are not soldiers, tomorrow another president will come who is not a soldier. You need a soldier like Museveni to be able to deliver a speech in such a place. What about the one who is not a soldier, a soft-spoken man, like a, let me see the president, like a Lungu. Can't Lungu collapse there? Confronted by him. If PLO Lumumba alone on the plane threatened Lungu, you remember PLO Lumumba was stopped.
Yes.
As soon as they had the plane was landing, they said no. So, look, a president like Lungu, if he was going to address a lecture, he would collapse. You need a soldier like a Matanga and like a Museveni to stand all that criticism.
But I think by now President Museveni is used to it, because this is I think it's normal in democracy.
Yes, for is a Ugandan is used to being.
He's used to that by now, I'm sure.
Yes, somebody was telling me, by the way, before, as we finish, the other topics we shall keep them for tomorrow.
And our viewers are waiting here. They're saying,
okay.
Can we return to the topics?
Yes, why I did not attend that lecture is President Museveni, if he saw me in the audience, I would have been the member of the target of his tyrant. You know, I went to such a meeting in London in 1992. I sat in front. I made a mistake. He saw me. He said, like this one here, like this one here. So I said, I'm not going to attend the lecture. I liked it from home. In fact, when I was watching it online, because the television was disrupted, they couldn't broadcast. So only a friend of mine embedded there went with the phone.
I was streaming live.
Oh, yes. To me, not to everybody.
Okay, okay.
You know I'm a bad boy.
All right.
I had to get a friend to stream, to see. You always walk one step ahead. That's why I defeated Ocampo. Give me credit. Whenever I feel like Ocampo is gone, he's no longer here, I feel so nice. Yes. Let's go to the topic. Let's return to the.
And of course, we were talking about what's happening right now in South Africa, and a fresh wave of xenophobia attacks has broken out in Durban, South Africa. Locals have been targeting foreigners since Monday, accusing them of taking their jobs, being behind the country's high unemployment rates and poverty. Of course, we've seen a statement that was made earlier by President Cyril Ramaphosa, but he's also come out to give a very long statement. I think in that statement, I read it just before he came on air, and he also particularly thanked Uganda for the role it played. He actually named.
That's why I'm talking.
Yes, but still also other African countries.
Yes, he thanked the role.
He did.
And the Ugandans targeted. That's why I'm asking Ramaphosa, return our passport. Ugandans, you can only please Museveni, but not all of us. Some of us were there also. It's not only Museveni. It is Obote who gave ANC. It's President Milton Obote, followed by Idi Amin. Idi Amin gave ANC fighting grounds in Uganda. Obote too, we gave South Africans fighting bases. Museveni took over, he gave them more access. It's not that it was President Museveni only. No! Some of us were in government. We were there, we saw South African. I can tell you we issued passports to Ramaphosa and the group and the family. Return them.
He appreciated that, and
no.
Said the tax was a sign of.
Why should I, a Ugandan of high integrity, walk into South Africa looking, embassy looking for a passport, and you refuse?
I think those are some of the things they should be discussing in these meetings. You
refuse. You tell him to go and bring dead fathers. This did what you?
Okay.
So now you see how God has condemned them.
Yes.
They have started beating Africans. And the Ramaphosa goes to a rally because he wants the votes to please
elections
ANC.
In May 8th, I think. Yes.
Those elections are going to be more trouble for you, Ramaphosa. ANC will lose its majority. It will win, but with less. It is slowly, the world is changing against ANC. Slowly, because of this type of behavior.
And
yes.
I think the rest of Africa leadership should come out and really condemn these acts of violence and xenophobia against these other Africans with the, the strongest terms possible. This is not acceptable in the Africa we have today, 2019. You're killing another African because of what, really? Like the way you're saying, they stoned that Somali young man. I can't bring myself to watch that because I'm normally I can't take that, but that is very unacceptable in this world we're living in. So the world, all of Africa, all the people who mean well for Africa should come out and condemn these acts of violence that are being witnessed in South Africa right now as it is. And we send our condolences to the people that are unfortunate victims of these acts of violence, and we hope that order shall be restored in Africa. We can have the Africa that our forefathers dreamt,
yes.
When they fought for the liberation of this continent.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on to Cameroon. As a result of the violence, Ambazonia last week, the United States placed
sanctions.
Sanctions on 20 personnel from Cameroon, never to travel to U.S.
Yes.
The U.S. Congress also has passed a resolution calling on Cameroon to discuss, to find a way of separate states.
All the aid they were giving to the Cameroon has been cancelled. Totally.
Thank you very much. Our radio, clap for our television.
Military training has been withdrawn completely by the U.S. On this one, I really support Trump.
Support me first.
On this one, I support the leadership. I never agree with anything that man does, but on this one, he issued a warning, but he went ahead and followed it with an action.
Yes.
And that is what France
That means our television
do.
station is listened to by the Americans.
Across the world.
And those who think we are not worth it, watch that. The United Nations Refugee Agency has appealed for support. During a press briefing in Geneva, the UNHRC said it needed money to return, to assemble and reorganize the refugees that are in camps in Nigeria.
And right now they're saying an estimated of 437 people have been displaced. Can you believe that?
And currently displaced internally. 242,000 of them
from Southwest,
and 105 in the Northwest region, and 86,000 in the Toro and Western region.
So this is all the Ambazonian region.
Ambazonians, yes.
These are not just figures; these are people.
People who used to have a good life, now they have been left to die in the tropics of Africa. Shame upon Paul Biya.
It's unfortunate.
Yes. Let's move on. Nigeria.
And Atiku, finally, he was unable to serve the president. I didn't even know this. He was unable to serve the president since he said he's going to file a petition. He was supposed to serve President Buhari as his second respondent. And he's been unable to do that. But the Court of Appeal in Abuja on Wednesday granted permission for the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar to serve their petition challenging the outcome of the February 23rd elections on President Muhammadu.
Through substituted means.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Since elections were held?
Yes, Buhari has taken cover. He doesn't, you have to reach Buhari and give him.
Yes.
But Buhari now took his military gear and Atiku failed.
Yes.
This came after the petitioners complained in an application they had been unable
to serve their petition.
1 week after filing the petition, the presidential election petition tribunal in Abuja said.
So they've been looking for Buhari. And they've been having difficulties to get hold of him. So finally, they had to do it through a court process.
Yes. So now Buhari has to be brought by wheelchair if he's not sick already.
I don't think he's sick yet.
South Sudan.
Yes.
Many attempts at ceasefires and the peace deals have failed South Sudan. But a 2018 peace agreement seemed to be holding, signed 5 years after the war. This deal certainly offers a promising end to the war. Since the regional brokered agreement was reached, it is also very important to note that Salva Kiir is still the president, and Riek Machar is still in exile in Khartoum.
And still the vice president.
And the vice president Sudan.
Number 2 or number 1?
No, there are 5.
How many are they?
five vice presidents.
Sudan,
I think that's stability.
Stability.
Yes, if you have a vice president.
When you have all these centers of
power.
One
president and then vice in each county.
Do you know these are all centers of power?
Yes, 47.
And that's
47 counties.
Too many cooks.
No.
Too many cooks.
If you have 47 vice presidents.
For what?
For stability of Kenya.
You can get governors then.
Vice president.
Have you seen how governors?
Can you change the
Have
constitution?
you seen how they behave? Imagine if they were vice president.
But if you allow them now,
they'll be demigods.
Miriam, if you allow them now, they are going to be warlords.
Imagine the way right now Ruto is the vice president of Kenya. All right, you can see the power and all that comes with that. Multiply that times.
Say it again.
Times 47.
Yeah,
we don't need that. We don't need that.
So Nigeria.
Yes.
There you are also South Sudan.
Yes.
Then we say the deal is holding on, and we believe that IGAD and the AU will hold the peace until Mr.
Yes, but of course there have been intensified fightings between the National Salvation Front that is led by...
That is in the Equatorial region,
Thomas
Malong.
Yes. I think he heads that, and the fraction of Dr. Riek Machar's SPLM side of, fraction.
Take them to the Hague. You know, for me, I have no mercy. Anybody breaking this deal this time should just go to the Security Council and enter himself in the Hague.
Paul Kagi is saying Dr. Riek Machar is under house arrest in Khartoum. He is?
Again? How many times shall we remove him from house? In South Africa, I removed him from house arrest.
House arrest.
Now in Khartoum, again, I will speak to Bashir because he gave me a number. I will try to see whether General Bashir, Chief of Staff, will take my phone today or tomorrow.
Okay.
I want to find out. Don't worry the world. I'm an investigative journalist. I'm going to take that call tonight.
Okay.
And I will find out whether he's under arrest.
Under house arrest.
A house arrest. Why? Not to move.
They should then get him to
we want him back
to Juba. Yes.
To Juba.
And just before we proceed to the next, I think there's something here. One of our viewers has said that maybe will be a good addition to what you're saying about South Sudan. Don Diallo de La Vegas, you're saying for any real peace to be made, South Sudan must be demilitarized first.
Demilitarized.
Yes. No real headway in the discussions can be achieved when the multiple sides could easily resort to violence and the discussions don't favor them. Exactly.
That's what I've been saying.
Yes.
You can't heap two armies, standing armies near each other when you have not demilitarized them. You must demobilize them. What we call a DDR, demobilization and the reintegration. Then you reintegrate both. Either put a new army, dissolve the old army, tell them to go home, and they can leave the guns and go to work and pay them off. So the country needs help from international agencies to pay off the old army to create a new army.
Yes,
full stop.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for your contribution. And then we move to Zimbabwe. Of course, whatever happened from Cyclone Idai has really triggered another economic crisis there, especially in the agricultural sector.
It needs all what we are appealing. This week, we shall make special appeal on Zimbabwe. And the Zimbabwe economy needs help, and we need people to help the economy. We need people to come up with solutions on how best the economy can be helped to come out of this nightmare that it is. As if that was not enough, God again strikes with a tropical cyclone, Idai, which comes to kill as many people again as possible, destroys the infrastructure, which is reeling under economic hardship. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
But the response...
Why have you forsaken Zimbabwe? Please.
And Mozambique.
And Mozambique.
And Malawi part of
and Malawi.
Yes,
but those economies were not bad off
as compared to Zimbabwe.
Yes.
So for Zimbabwe, it's a double tragedy. But I love the way the world has so far responded to this tragedy, and of course, even as they try to rebuild, they require more help. So there's an appeal out there, and you can look for organizations, especially supported by United Nations and the Red Cross and these other people that are trying to help the affected gain back their normalcy. So you could look out if you want to help in such, and you can get your help in such organizations so that you can reach the people that are intended to benefit from that. So that is that.
Thank you very much. On Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe needs dollars. There's a shortage of US dollars for fuel, medicine, while inflation hits 42% in December, the highest in the decade. Foreign investors are by and large staying. Some of them come, don't stay away. Come and see what we can help. Oh God, why have you forsaken Zimbabwe? Thank you.
Okay, so we move to Comoros.
Yeah, that's your island?
Yes, Comoros. And it's becoming a very fragile island as it is right now.
It's a fragile island. There's no Comoros. You know, Comoros is equivalent to Nairobi. Small country, island in the Indian Ocean.
Yes.
But it ticks in terms of politics.
It does.
It has been very vibrant in terms of political science. On Tuesday, Comoros electoral body declared the President Azali Assoumani winner of the country's presidency with 60.8%. The runner-up Ahmed Mahamoud, one of the 12 opposition candidates, 14%. And then so on. Opposition alleged that the voting was fraudulent. There is nowhere opposition in Africa will say.
And I think the contention is Assoumani's victory was over 50%, so there cannot be a runoff. So the opposition was like, no, because I think they were waiting for a runoff. Their constitution allows, I think, like Kenya.
No, the guys are quick. They raised the stake.
And he got thrice his immediate follower. And so there's no runoff. So opposition feels like, okay, this is not working for us. And of course, they've said it was fraudulent and it was hindered by violence and all these things. So right now, just after the elections, the oppositions were trying to take out to the streets. And hours after opposition candidate announced their plans to unseat the president. Actually, now they wanted to go unseat the president. Can you believe that?
And one of the things for the first time, observers from African Union, Common Market of East Africa, COMESA, yes, and African Standby Forces of the East have stated the voting process was highly irregular and lacked credibility or transparency.
AU finally has a voice. Can you believe that?
AU has a voice.
or it chooses where to be vocal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has finally come out to say.
A country like Comoros, really, maybe there's no.
No, there is interest. Yes. There is interest. I think the man who has won is not in favor with France. France wants the opposition. The guy is a nationalist. He's trying to tell the French to toe their line. You know, he's also torn between the British and the French. There's a pool. So the AU chairperson, Musa Mohamed Faki, just told the people to say it was irregular because the man did not toe the French line. Had he told the French line, look at Madagascar, the disc car, is the president confirmed?
The DJ.
The DJ man.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Have we come to the end?
I think we've
Thank you very much, my dear sister.
Today's topics.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
I think we shall do a few other things tomorrow at 11. We shall come in, or we see what we can tomorrow at 11.
All right, and indeed we have to really thank our viewers who tuned in this afternoon.
You are the one to do the good send-off. I'm tired, man.
We thank you so much for writing to us.
I'm tired.
For engaging with us and for commenting and all that. We thank you so much. So hopefully tomorrow we can meet here at 11 a.m. East African time for another new edition of Good Morning Africa, bright and early. But for now, I am Miriam Ogutu, and it's bye-bye from me.
Bye-bye for me, Dr. David Ibo, son, Nyokorach Matsanga, son of soil. Bye for me till we see each other. There comes a time when a man acts and leaves the stage for others. How many African leaders are ready to do that? Only Uhuru Kenyatta, and others are ready. The rest are
a few are proving to be a problem.
Faka tukufue kwa chiti. Tukufe kwa chiti while we are on the seat.
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
All right.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Don't forget, corruption kills, corruption slaughters, corruption takes away everything that you have, including the food you eat. Bye.